how much you are going to pay, I mean earn as a first year audit. Don't give me the nice fancy one. Give me your audit salary.
And in rands, let me convert that.
Hi, Mo. Hi.
And that's
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nobuhle Khumalo, and today's video is a highly requested one, and one that I think you guys will actually find a lot of benefit from. It is CA versus CPA, and for those who don't know, CPA is a certified public accountant. So basically it's your CA but in the States. And today I have a lovely guest. As you would have already seen, I have Bonita Danielle, and she'll be sharing with us her journey, how she got there. She is actually South African, but I'll let her tell her own story. But I just wanted you guys to know that she is South African, so it's not like I've got a random person who you guys can't even relate to. So if you are looking to do your qualification via the international route, she's your girl. So you better go and check out her channel, because you're probably going to learn a lot more from her than me, because I didn't do international. But anyways, let me allow her to introduce herself, because she is a YouTuber herself. Bonita, welcome to my channel. Tell us about yourself.
Hi guys, I am so happy to be joining you guys today, and I just want to thank Nobuhle for having me. First of all, let me just say she's really gracious, because the first time I messaged her, it was a little bit ghetto. It was a little bit ghetto. So honestly, she is so gracious for having me here today. My name is Bonita Danielle, and I am a South African YouTuber, but I am also I'm a quarter to becoming a CPA. I've done my the exam portion to become a CPA. So I'm a South African YouTuber. I studied accounting, but let me not talk too much about that. So this video is actually a part 2 of the conversation. Part 1 is up on my channel. So head up over there and check it out. It's Bonita Danielle to get a full scope of the conversation. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. We're gonna have a great time.
Alright guys, I'm going to invite Bonita to give us a bit of background about who she is, what her journey is, where she studied. Did you grow up in the States? What is it? Tell us.
So, like I said, my name is Bonita Danielle, and I moved to America about 5 years ago when I was 18 years old. Or I had just turned 19, and I moved to America in order to go to school there. So how that happened is I finished matric, and then I worked with an agency to try and find schools overseas. And then I ended up getting 6 scholarships from 6 different universities in America, and then I picked one of them, and that's how I ended up moving to America. So for a little bit of context, I went there by myself. Well, I went with my mom the first time, but I have no family in America. So it was literally, and it has been just me for the last 5 years. So I moved to America, and I went and studied accounting for my 4-year period in school. And I got my BA in accounting, Bachelor's of Arts in Accounting, summa cum laude. And I also had a minor in management. Also, fun fact, and the reason why I want to mention this also is it's not a matter of, sometimes people take it as flexing. It's not. I just want to show that so much is possible, because sometimes people don't take certain paths because they doubt themselves. I'm not a genius. I want to put that out there. Like, I'm not a genius. So I graduated summa cum laude, and I was also the valedictorian at graduation. So I was the graduation speaker, and I was the flag bearer because I was the president of an honor society. So I'm the one that led everyone into graduation and led everyone out. Then I was also the speaker, and then I graduated summa cum laude, and I got an award at the end of graduation as well. So like, I'm just super proud of all of that. And I'm saying that again because one of the biggest questions I had when it was time to move is, can I do it? And yes, you can. Yes, I can. But yes, you can as well. So I graduated, and then my school has a program called 4+1. So that allows you to start working on your master's while you are doing your undergraduate studies. So in my 4th year of school, I started doing master's work. So in the daytime, I would be an undergraduate student, and in the evening, I would be attending night classes for my master's. As a result, after my 4 years, I only did 1 more year. And earlier this year in May, I graduated. I got my MBA. So I have my MBA. while I was doing my MBA, I was also studying for my CPA exams. So I wrote and completed all 4 of my CPA exams. We're going to go into detail later in the video discussing what those are and what the structure is. But I wrote and completed, passed all 4 of my CPA exams. So basically, it's MBA CPA for the babies. I just need my work experience. But like, the exams were the hardest parts. So, but yeah, guys, that's a little bit about my journey.
All right, guys, so as we've already mentioned, I am a chartered accountant of South Africa. I actually recently qualified this year, so it's still exciting and a bit like, I don't know, I'm a bit uncomfortable saying it because it's like, oh my word, really? And that's because it was a 7-year journey. So it's like, finally, mama, I've arrived, okay? But anyways, I actually studied my undergrad at UCT, which is one of the top universities in South Africa. And then I did my postgrad at UCT as well. And thereafter, I moved to Johannesburg to do my articles. My articles is like the work experience portion. And I did that at a Big 4 firm. Worked there for 3 years. 3 hard, grueling, but rewarding years. And then after that, I qualified. Okay, and then after qualifying, my company gave me the opportunity to go and work internationally. So I did a secondment in the US. I initially chose Philadelphia, but I landed up in the New York office, no complaints. And then now I'm actually currently doing a second secondment in Melbourne, Australia. So that's been really exciting. So if you are looking for a bit of international exposure and you didn't like get a lucky chance to go and study abroad like Bonita, it's okay. There are opportunities. You will get your chance to do that terminal A stuff. So you know, keep pushing. Eventually things level out. Okay, so we're gonna start with similarities because there are fewer, and then we'll dive into the differences. This includes the money, and I know a lot of you guys are here to hear about how much money we were making, so stick around, okay? If you're still here, comment, show me the money. Yeah, comment, show me the money, just so I know you're still around and you're still listening to me and Bonita giving you CA versus CPA. The similarities I've kind of pulled out from our conversations are, firstly, we have to go to an accredited school. I know there is a bit of a difference because you said your school just has to have an accredited module, but for us, the entire university itself actually has to be accredited by SAICA. You can also actually study accounting at my university, but not do the chartered accountancy stream. So you can do an accounting general, which is not CA stream. So I get you in terms of the curriculum. My ring lights. You know what I thought? I was like, load shedding in Australia. Another similarity we have, but I think this might just be between me and Bonita, is that we have the same core courses essentially. So like audit, financial reporting, tax, corporate governance, and all of that. However, I also want to say this is a difference because I have had experience where I've worked with people in the United States who did art, who did completely different undergrads, but then still ended up doing like their articles at a Big 4 firm. And for me, shame, you know, for me, I'm always like, sabaweli for my country, sabaweli for South Africans, because I think a lot of people might eventually want to branch into chartered accounting or whatever, but they didn't know, or they didn't know what they didn't know. Because in South Africa, you don't get that second chance. It's like, if you didn't choose this initially, goodbye, you're gonna have to go start at first year, and now like people are like in their 30s trying to pivot, and that's a really difficult thing to do. But having said that, people still do this because obviously people understand the value of being a chartered accountant, so it's so normal. Similarity number 3, promotions. Like promotions were quite standard. Every 6 months you got a promotion during your articles. It was almost a given that you're gonna get a promotion, and if you didn't get a promotion, it was like, what did you actually do?
Promotions tend to be standardized. That's another similarity. So you were saying every 6 months. So for us, like every year you move from this rank to that rank. Now it's not a year by year thing. You might find that when you start at staff 1, you have to work for 1 year, you move to staff 2. But to go from staff 2 to like a senior, it might take 2 years to get there. But it's standardized numbers for you to get to that next point, unless I'm assuming you're a high, you must be like, whoa, for your thing to be different.
Similarity number 4, salaries. Pretty standard, no negotiations. Because I even compared salaries across provinces, so your Johannesburg people will actually get paid the most, or Gauteng region gets paid the most, and then people in KZN and Western Cape and all these outlying areas, I don't mean to say outlying, but like Port Elizabeth and stuff, they will get paid a lesser amount, and that's just also because of the standard of living. So the people assume that it's more expensive to live in Johannesburg versus Cape Town and Durban. So I knew for a fact that Johannesburg was the highest paying place, which is why I went there, but obviously it kind of nets off because of where you're living. Similarity number 5 is the favorite discipline, which is audit.
They tend to funnel you to audit. So when you enter your journey into accounting, the offers you're going to get, the internships, more often than not everyone, not all the time, they tend to funnel you into auditing. And there's so much to accounting than just auditing, but they will try funnel you there.
Yep, 100% the same with us. Like for us, for you to get to a big 4 firm, usually it's through your auditing. And then once you're qualified and you're a manager, while you're now manager level, then you can try and dip in the other departments. And the last 2 similarities that we have is that firstly, your company will pay for your first board course. Like if you are already employed or planning to work for a specific company,
so your company will pay for you, and similarly they'll pay once. So for us, we have 4 exams. They will pay once for each exam. If you fail and have to retake, that's going to be out of pocket. But the difference is that because you guys are already working when you're doing these exams, or you're starting with them, I'm assuming they pay for you immediately. Now, for us, you don't have to be working for a company to start your CPA exam. So I made sure to pass and do all of them before I start working, because I didn't want to work and do the exams. And because I did it this way, they don't pay for me early. When I start working, I have to submit my receipt and they'll reimburse me.
And then the last similarity is that even once we've qualified, we all still need to continue developing our knowledge. And I think that's just because as CPAs and CAs, we have a standard to maintain. So you can't just let your people just fall off the rails. You always have to kind of, tell them this is what you need to get for you to still be registered. All right, now let's move on to the differences. There are a lot of differences, and the first one obviously is the burning question. Tell me how much you are going to pay, earn as a first year audit. Don't give me the nice fancy one. Give me your audit salary.
So if you're going to be a first-time auditor, it's going to be $64,000, right? Which goes down to $5,300 per month. And in rands, let me convert that.
101. What?
To the counting.
And she's not lying. I'll tell you, she's not lying. Because when I went to work in the States earlier this year, the money they were paying us was beautiful. It was gorgeous. Whereas in South Africa, sorry to humble you guys, in South Africa in my first year, okay, this was 2020, so you see I'm gonna adjust. Hold on, but I was earning 18,000 rand gross.
Not time value of money, child.
And I have to, because now you're bringing out 100k. Please show some respect. 104% times 104% times 104%. I'm just assuming the increase in by inflation. So you earn 20,200. I mean, it's not a lot more, but it's so yeah, you'll start off around 20k as a South African trainee, which is like 1/5 of yours. But I want us to talk about what you can afford with that salary, because the money does look good, especially on paper, and a lot of us do try and do these international assignments because the money looks good. but sometimes I think it's only on paper. But I want to hear from you. So let me go first. In South Africa, as much as 18,000 didn't seem like a lot, but I could actually still afford like decent things. So in my first year, I opted to share an apartment, but this was just because I needed to like accumulate some of my furniture. But from my second year of articles onwards, I was actually living by myself in a 1-bedroom apartment in a nice estate. It had like a gym and a pool and a restaurant. Like had all the nice things. So I was quite happy. I liked my place. I actually miss my place. It was aesthetically pleasing to me. So I could afford that apartment, and I can afford a car. So I initially had a Ford Figo, and it was automatic because I was very deliberate about not wanting to have to like press on a clutch in traffic in Sandton. So I got myself an automatic. I wasn't living lavish. I wasn't popping bottles at the club. I wasn't the moreki, the spender. I actually often didn't see my friends. I wasn't doing cute lunch dates. My nails weren't always done. But this is also just what I prioritized. The real money comes after you qualify. And just before, Bonita, you tell us what you can afford, I do want to say that your salary of 100K is very steep, because even when we qualify as a chartered accountant and you're now like a manager level, you're still not making 100K, okay? You're still not making 100K. And then for you to like earn 100K, think you need to have like at least 5 years of experience.
Now I'm going to be talking about Texas, because that's where I'm working. So that's where I was looking for apartments and looking at these things. Okay. So,
and for context, guys, because Bonita was still like, she's still going to start working. That's why she's not using herself as a reference. That's why she's had to do like this external research. So I just wanted to clear it up so people don't think, oh, you're just feeding us dreams. It's because you have not walked that yet, but you're still yet to walk it.
1,800 is a nice apartment. It's a nice apartment. So you can pretty much get something close to that, but not quite that if you're earning that amount. But there are also very good apartments for like 1,600, 1,500. And I saw them when I was touring. Also, I was touring in Midtown, like CBD, like Sandton, basically. Obviously those prices are going to be more expensive than if I went to the outskirts. The reason why I didn't go outskirts is because I'm new to the city, I'm new to the job, I don't have a car yet, so I don't want to strain myself, but over time. So, and then in terms of cars, now America is very interesting. It depends on what kind of car you want to get. I know friends who got a car and they paid $5,000. Of course, that's secondhand.
5,000 for context is about 95,000 rand.
Yeah, so like not brand new, but it'll be secondhand, but it doesn't have to be like, it's not going to be a deadbeat per se, like a wow. Like it's old, but it's a car that'll get you around. So on your salary, you can afford an okay car with a good apartment. Obviously, there's going to have to be
you will have to weigh it out. It depends. Do you think you will be saving crazy amounts of money and you'll be like able to come back to South Africa and be a millionaire? Just like with the articles portion, like if you work for 3 years, like can I work 3 years and come back as a millionaire? Or as much as the salary is big, everything else is also quite expensive. The fact that we said your rent, let's just say 1,600, so 1,600 is the rent. Comparison, that's already 30K. Whereas for me, my rent was about 6K. So would you say that the reason your salary is so big is also because the standard of living is quite high?
The salary is high, but it definitely matches where you're living. It's all about money management and making your money work for you. If you are single, you don't have children, you can definitely manage your life in such a way that you pay your rent and whatever, and your leftover funds, either you're saving and also investing, building a portfolio. By the time you're ready to move back to SA, you can 100% have a lot of money saved up. When I was in undergrad, I was saving up a lot of my money, a lot of money. I ended up saving thousands of dollars. And convert that, essentially, I had almost 100,000 rand in savings that I was saving while I was in school, So how much more when you're working and you have a lot more income? And also when you're working in this field, I'd like to think you have the opportunity to learn about finance and money, learning how to make your money work for you. If you're smart, you can 100% have so much money saved up and come back and, even have enough to fund a business or whatever,
But I think I want to wrap that financial one. I hope people are happy with the response. Now let's go through the rest of the differences. I'll just go through them really quickly. If there is anything you disagree with, Bonita, let me know. So another difference is that in America, there are different states. So obviously when you're a CPA for your specific state. And this is because there are multiple professional bodies. So you'll be registered with your specific one. Whereas in South Africa, it's one national board across the entire country. And if you're a CA in Durban, you're a CA in Cape Town. It's the same. Another difference is that Bonita will do 4 CPA exams or board exams, whereas we only had 2. Of these CPA exams, Bonita's ones are quite separate, like it's accounting, tax, corporate governance, whereas for us, it's a combination. Anything can come, just pray your section that you're not ready for doesn't come up. Another thing is that in terms of work experience, I have 3 years that I have to work after doing all of my studying, and it has to be with the firm that's accredited. Whereas Bonita only actually has to work 1 year, and it has to be under a qualified CPA. Doesn't, like, the company doesn't have to be qualified as long as her line manager is a qualified CPA who can track her progress.
With the exams, you have a structure. It must be before you, in the beginning of your first year, then I think just before the 3-year mark.
Can you correct?
Exams. But for the CPA, you can literally, as long as you have the requirements, those education ones I mentioned in my video, again, go check it out. As soon as you have those, anytime, you can take your exams.
And another difference, which was quite big. For us, there are set times to write those board exams. So your ITC will be written in January and in June. June. Only 2 times in a year. And if you miss those times, you have to wait for the next one. Whereas with Bonita, there might be an exam every single day. Like, you might have to go to a different state. Like, you can write every single day, basically. It's just that you obviously have to pay every single day. So it's not just show up and, do your thing. But you can write. Like, if you fail, you can say, wait, give me 1 week and I'm going to pick myself up. You can go write. Whereas with us, it's like you have to sit 6 months of hanging your head in shame. And then you go write again, which is very stressful because you end up forgetting some of the content. But yeah, that's a difference. Another difference that we have even with these board exams is that in America, pass mark is 75% per exam, which is very steep. That's a distinction in varsity. Whereas for us, ITC, I think you just have to get an aggregate of 50% because you write like 4 papers. Aggregate must be 50%. So if each paper is out of 100, you need to get at least 200 out of the 400 points. But you have to have a minimum of 40% on your other papers. So you can't get 2%. You can't say I'll be good on day 1 and get my 200 points. Then, day 2, I'm like, no. There is a minimum, right? And then also you guys have a time limit, and your time limit actually only starts when you've passed your first one. So it's not as soon as you write, you have 18 months. It's as soon as you pass your first one, you have 18 months to qualify. For us, on the other hand, once you are eligible to write, it counts. So even if you only write your first exam only in the 3rd seating, the first 2 seatings that you missed because, I'm not ready, I need time, count as fails.
You guys also have a number of attempts.
After you've done your postgrad is valid for, let me see. If you've got 8 attempts, it means it's valid for 4 years. If you did your postgrad more than 4 years ago, which means you've missed 8 attempts, because there's 2 exams a year, which means you've missed 8 attempts, you gotta go back. You can't, because the curriculum changes too much. You're going to fail anyways, so just go and study fresh or PGDA and do a whole year again, which is not worth it. And then in terms of study material, you guys just get access to material, but there's no actual board courses or people who are training you, whereas we have that. You have the option to sign up for that in your first board, but in your second board it is mandatory. But there are similarities, but there are a lot of differences. But it's really about what you really want. What's your end goal? What can you do? What can you afford? That's another thing. But yeah, I think this has been a great chat, great points. Thank you so much, Bonita. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, so that's where our video ends. Thank you so much, Bonita, for joining me. This has been super informative. I hope you guys have actually enjoyed it, because I've enjoyed it quite a lot. A part of me is asking myself, like, oh my gosh, maybe I should have gone abroad, maybe I should have studied something sexy, like, you know. But I'm also like, you know what, I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm content, and this is such a good feeling to have, because yes, I can hear the benefits and the perks that Bonita has, but I can also safely say that there are benefits and perks in South Africa as well, and obviously the international stuff, which is what I'm really like interested in, like the bragging rights. I've gotten the opportunity to do that with these international secondments, so you know, even right now. But I know in my heart, in my soul, I'm a South African girly to the core. And guys, as per like the emotional aspects that we covered in Bonita's video, you will see that it really does depend on you and your personality. So for me, my family is my source of strength. When I am down and I need motivation, like the only thing that can like put me back up there is my family and some of my friends. So it was really important for me to be grounded here. So as much as I'm like, oh, sabaweli to go abroad, I'm also like, I think things worked out for a reason. Like God knew exactly what he was doing, because it might have been nice going there, but I don't know if I would be where I am right now if I had gone.
Whether you're doing it in SA or doing it in America, it's not going to be an easy journey. But I want to assure you that it is worth it. I believe in you the same way I believe in myself.
By the way, sorry, I was an hour away from Philly. I lived an hour from Philly, an hour from New York. I was very close to both parts.
She was literally a bus ride. Not even a flight, a bus ride.
Literally.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll catch her somewhere. I don't know which time zone, but we'll link. If you ever want to go to Bali, Phuket, tell me, okay? We organize. Hey, actually, don't forget to subscribe, and also go check out my Instagram, but also go check out Bonita's Instagram, because she travels so much. No, I know the money is good, because my sister, when's he Seychelles, when's hi. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That's it from me. Bye.